Seeing the world through the third eye. Interesting talks. Prophecies of the future. The U.S. presidential election in November 2020 has entered a darkest moment, but President Trump has not forgotten his trust in God. Lonely looking at the votes that disappeared overnight, he stayed up all night and finally found out that there were extremely serious frauds in 3 states, and the situation in one of those states is particularly complicated. With unparalleled faith in God, President Trump once again came to the gods and the guardians of the heavens to pray for justice and light to return to the world. He hoped that the American people would always be protected by God, and be safe, healthy and peaceful. At this time, all the gods were listening to his prayer. After praying, Trump received the blessings of Bodhisattva, and Bodhisattva also bestowed him the edict. This edict represents the highest honor and status in the world, the Lord of the White House, and also represents that he is the chosen one of heaven. The red lotus represents the cultivation in this world, the world of 5 turbidities, this time is turbid. The worries are turbid. The sentient beings are turbid. The thoughts of mind are turbid. And the destiny of beings is turbid. At this time, Trump has received the will of God. When he passed the side door, he met Biden, who was wearing an official feather hat, entered through the side door to discuss the handover. They talked all the way, from handover to compromise, from compromise to handover, but Trump never agreed to compromise, and he firmly returned to his presidential throne. At this time, the party led by Biden forcibly tore Trump from the presidential throne. It was extremely rude and desperate, using all despicable means. Trump, who was almost pulled off the presidency, fought and wrestled with Biden, who was about to take over. At this time, Biden was taken to court because of various scandals and election fraud. His presidential dream was broken. Trump was re-elected by the people for justice, bravery, honesty, and kindness as the great president of a free and democratic country. The entire comic story in this video describes the predictions from heaven about the ending of the battle of the president election for the world's most powerful country. But people must still fight for what they hope for, as this is part of karma. You must seed first, and then gather the conditions that will help the seed grows, so that you can eventually reap the fruit. The conditions, good or bad, are controlled by heaven. If heaven does not bestow the good conditions, no matter how hard you fight, it will not happen, because of lacking the conditions. For example, in order for a seed to grow, it requires suitable amount of sunlight and water. If heaven doesn't bestow too less or too much sunlight or water, the seed may die or won't grow, and certainly, there will be no fruit to reap. Therefore, humans should be grateful for gods in the heaven, and pray for what they desire, and gods will bless, and then effort must be made to achieve the desired result. Heaven decide the paths of the world, and people use their will to choose one of them. Therefore, it is very important to understand how this universe works, and have faith in gods, pray and fight for what you are hoping for. People must have a heart of justice, kindness and bravery. The story revolves around heaven and the White House on earth. Trump, who participated in the presidential election, sat at the desk of the president of the White House and looked at the votes. He found that the votes were stolen, the people were deceived, and the American democratic system was experiencing a centurial crisis. So Trump came to the gods to pray with a sincere trust in God, hoping to save the United States with God's power. The gods heard his prayer, and because Trump was truly fighting for the well-being of the American people, he was blessed by the gods. Bodhisattva walked out of the temple of heaven, holding a red lotus in one hand and an edict in the other hand, and bestowed Trump the edict. When Trump passed through the side door of the temple with the edict in hand, he met Biden, who entered through the side door. The side door indicates that Biden could not get the presidential throne. Biden wears an official feather hat on his head, indicating that he will not be able to get the crown that symbolizes the king. Biden wanted to seize the power, but Trump never compromised. After several fights, Trump returned to the presidency and became the true elected president of the United States. Justice will eventually defeat evil, and the people will get their own government with their own power.